Hey astronauts, it's me, Brandy, and welcome back to Astro-Tarot Research. So today's reading is what makes you so special. I know I was a little harsh on you guys at the last reading, but today is all love and I'm here to hype you up. And I also want to give a big thanks for all the support that you astronauts have given me through over the years with my channel and everything. It means so much, and I don't say it enough on camera because I'm so like one-track minded, I just forget. But of course you guys are the backbone of this channel, so thank you so much. So we have 4 pals to choose from today, but before we get started, I do want to remind you to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Astro_Tarot Research and hit that bell to stay notified of future readings. Now let us jump into these piles. We have pile number 1, we have pile number 2, we have pile number 3, and we have pile number 4. And I'm going to keep up with the 4 piles until I finish my Black Beauty study, which I am probably like 1/3 of the way through with the script. But I'm doing really good, I think. It's probably going to be a little bit longer than I thought, but I'm wasting time. So just sit back, relax, and choose. Hey pal number 1, let us get started on your reading on what makes you so special if you've chosen this little ghost here. We have the 6 of Wands, the 4 of Cups, the Empress, the Chariot, and the 9 of Cups. Wow, you guys are pretty amazing here. So what makes, oh, let me get this all, I didn't even realize they weren't in the frame. Okay. So what makes you so special is you're someone who's obviously with the 6 of Wands just naturally just stands out from a crowd. Maybe you have a lot of confidence. Maybe you just carry yourself with a lot of respect, or maybe you're someone who's not afraid to show off your accomplishments with the 6 of Wands here. That's someone who is like, hey, look, I got my master's degree. Hey, I, ran a, gosh, what can I think? Ran a marathon. I lost 20 pounds. Like, it's just somebody who kind of shows off their accomplishments, and you're not shy about it. You're proud of yourself. And you have a lot of energy and towards wanting to get your goals done and actually getting what you said done. There's a lot of, hey, I'm setting out to do this, and then you deliver upon doing it. So that alone is what's making you, not that alone is what making you special, but that's one of the qualities that makes you special and that people are really drawn to when it comes to you. They're like, wow, that person, I like how they know that they're attractive and they know that they're smart and know that they're talented, and they don't let other people deter them or tell them that they're not. They stay focused on what it is that they need to do. They stay focused on how they, feel about themselves. Their confidence always seems to be so high, and they really put themselves out there. People see you as somebody who is friendly, easy to approach, and as well as, maybe a little bit intimidating with the 6 of Wands, because like somebody who won, like, let's say somebody who won like an Olympic medal, you may be like, oh my gosh, this person won an Olympic medal? That's crazy, but you still want to talk to them about it. So you have people who just feel like, wow, you've done so much, you've accomplished so much, I want to talk to you about it, okay? And it seems like you could give good advice and you'd be like a really good leader in helping other people out. With this 4 of Cups next to it, it kind of reminds me of this one show that I saw. It was like a Mexican reality show about like rich people living in Mexico. I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but it was interesting to watch. But there was this woman who had like this list of things she wanted to accomplish, and she would just kind of go down the list of everything. She's like, here's my award. She would have pictures of herself on the wall. Now, she was a little bit more extreme when it came to like hyping herself up, but what I liked about her is she was so determined, and she would just kind of knock things off her list of like, I've done this is my bucket list, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. Like, she was very, very ambitious. And I mentioned this because with the 4 of Cups reversed here, it's like you're never bored because you always have something that you want to tackle. You always have something you want to put your mind to. You always have something that you want to concentrate on and focus your energy on. If anything, you may have too many things, but for the most part, you're somebody who just really likes to take part in everything life has to offer you. You don't miss an opportunity. You don't miss a step, okay? If somebody says, hey, you want to go to this amusement park next Saturday, you're like, you know what? I've never been there. Let me try it, okay? Let me go out there and do it, because let's just see. Let's see what life has to offer me. Let's see if we can have some fun. Let's really just go for it, okay? So that's something that people will see within you. They feel like you never take a rest day, and they're like, wow, how do I even keep up with this person? This person is so energetic and so creative and just an overall well-rounded person. When we have these other cards here with the Empress and the Chariot and the Nine of Cups all coming together, like I said before, you're a person who really takes advantage of all the options that you have available to you in life. With the Empress, which makes you special is possibly more than likely your beauty, because the Empress does connect towards beauty because it's connected towards obviously femininity and the planet Venus, and Venus is very much the planet of beauty. In fact, in my Black Beauty study, you know what? I'm not even going to get into that right now, but I will say in my Black Beauty study that Venus did become one of the most popular planet placements for beauty, and it was just very, very important. And I think gosh, what's the other astrologer? I can't remember her name. Claire Knockby even had that in her channel. She did a beauty study, and Venus and the Ascendant was one of those other planets that really meant you, like, people would notice you for your beauty. Not always, but it was one of the indicators, as well as having Venus as your highest rule planet. So like if Venus was at 29 degrees, more than likely it's probably the highest ruled planet in your chart, and so that also became like part of being known for beauty, right? So you are being known for your attractiveness, and this is for men and women, or any other gender you identify with. And it's saying that people are just kind of drawn into it. So the way that you look, the way that you present yourself, your creativity, your unique sense of beauty, that is what makes you stand out, okay? That kind of just really draws people in. I get the Chariot to rule that somebody's like super accomplished, somebody who comes in and they're like, oh look, I have this job at NASA, and you know what, I am also a model, and and like I'm also like, I volunteer for children's charities on the weekend. Like, it's just somebody who just seems like this very perfect, put together, I got everything, I'm like the ideal person kind of thing. So people just feel like, wow, like they wish they were you in a way. And that's really what's kind of making people special. Even if you feel like, oh, I have a lot of flaws, I had a lot of things going for me, people really think that you have a lot to offer, and that you are very well accomplished, and that you are somebody who is very mature, because Venus is one of those planets that connects to maturity, which is probably why Venus and Saturn get along, because Saturn is the ultimate planet of maturity and responsibility, and Venus and Saturn tend to go well together in someone else's chart. It makes somebody very disciplined and very creative. It also can make somebody very beautiful, like having aspects to Venus and Saturn. So that's something that's very, very much that people are like, okay, this person's very mature. I've also noticed that in my study, like if somebody's Venusian ruled, they usually have to mature very early in life. So people may feel like you're somebody who kind of always knew what they wanted, or at least they feel like you've gone through circumstances where you didn't really have like a childish childhood? What does that mean? I don't know if that makes sense. But usually, like I said, Venusian people are put into situations very early on where the adults around them may not be as responsible or may not know how to handle situations, and thus they have to put on this like mature role, or maybe they have to take care of their siblings, and like I said, they have to end up in this mature mindset. But all of this to say that people think you're very, very special, because when it comes to making personal relationships and personal connections, you try to find a way to like get along and find this middle ground with everyone, and try to get along with people you meet. People don't find you trying to ruffle too many feathers, especially with this Empress card here. That's the card of like peace and happiness, and the Chariot's trying to pull these horses together. So it's saying that, hey, they see that even if you disagree with someone, it's kind of like I agree to disagree, and you're not willing to just kind of like cut people off and not see another way of thinking. When it comes to Venus, is a sign of balance. So they like to look at both sides of the aisle. So they're like, okay, I can understand the Republicans, I can understand the Democrats, you know what I mean? Like they like to look at both positions. They may be kind of like on the fence and just kind of be like, oh, well, I'm kind of an independent, but for the most, or it could also be the extreme way. Sometimes Venusian people can be like extremist. They're like, I'm a super conservative, or like I'm a super liberal. But if they're like a very mature Venus, they tend to look at both sides of the issues. And another thing is this also connects to being very well educated, that I've noticed with Venusian placements. For some reason, education and intelligence is very, very important. I mean, for some reason. But it does come up quite often. It's a good reason. Education and intelligence is very important, but education and intelligence for Venusian people is one of the major themes within their lives. So being in a position where they feel in a negative way, it could be like, oh, I feel like I'm smarter than everyone else. But in a more positive way, it's almost like I want to challenge myself. Like if you were to pick like all honors classes or all college level courses in like high school or something like that, or in middle school. So it's like challenging yourself intellectually, challenging yourself creatively, challenging your realm of reality, okay? And that's what people like about you, that you seek to challenge yourself, that you seek out new trials and tribulations, and the Chariot pretty much matches that energy. And that also connects to the sign of Cancer, and that's a whole nother ball game. If I read Cancer from the Vedic perspective, then Cancer is 100% the sign when it comes about intimacy, and it comes about, excuse me. All right, so funny. I was right in the middle of talking about the Vedic sign of Cancer, and like my niece kind of was like, came in and knocking on the door, and ironically enough, I believe her moon is in the, not moon, her sun is in the Vedic sign of Cancer. So you see how that energy kind of just like barges in, like the Chariot here. And and just kind of like demands what they want. She wanted me to watch a video, but back to what I was saying, what makes you so special is you can be very much somebody who just blatantly just goes after their desires, and you may even want to bring people along for the ride. Like you may be the type of person to share your successes, or just share things that in general make you happy and make you fulfilled, and you're like, look at this, guys, look at this. Like, have you seen this video on YouTube? Have you heard of this new trend? Have you heard of this new restaurant? Like, you're just so upfront and out there and sociable. Or if you're not sociable, at least your friends and family, they'll feel like that you really want to involve them in things that are very personal and things that you really like. That's pretty much like the Vedic sign of Cancer. Like intimacy and connection and closeness is so important to that placement, which is why you'll often see a lot of men there, especially in the sign of Pusha that I've seen, or even Ashleisha, be kind of like players. And the reason for that is because, at least in most societies, it is not accepted for men to be kind of like open and vulnerable about their feelings the same way that women are. I shouldn't say most societies, but most societies that I know of. And the way that a lot of men gain intimacy is through sexual acts. So that's the reason that you'll see a lot of men with Vedic sign placements in the sign of Cancer kind of be a little bit more like promiscuous. So that is something to think about. But anyway, not saying that if you're a guy, you're watching this, you're promiscuous or anything. But that's just an observation that I have made. So definitely these are things that make you special. They feel like you're out there chasing your dreams constantly, sharing what it is that you desire. And then not only that, but making it pleasurable for people around you and taking time to really enjoy yourself, because the Nine of Cups is a card of self-enjoyment, self-fulfillment, taking a lot of pleasure in the things that you do or put your mind to. And maybe you're like, for people, maybe people around your age are jaded. It depends. I have a wide range of viewership. Usually when the older you get, the more people get a little bit more jaded, or a little bit more, what was it Marilyn Monroe said, like, we're all miserable now or something, when she was talking about how life was compared to like her youth. And it does kind of happen as you age a little bit. You're just a little bit less optimistic. It doesn't necessarily mean you become jaded though, but that does happen for a lot of people. And they feel like you're not that person. They feel like you're the person who's always looking at the silver lining when it comes to situations. So that is what I have for you, pile number one. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Au revoir. Hey, pile number two, let us get started on what makes you so special. We have the Five of Wands, the Fool, the Death card, the Sun card, and this is basically strength, but force. So what makes you so special? I just got the Five of Wands too for like, I always like, I don't always, but every now and then I like to pull a card for like how my day will go. And I got the Five of Wands for today. And basically I was just like playing a lot of games on my phone. So what I'm trying to say is, what makes you special is that you're a very playful person, and you may be even somebody who's just generally competitive, or somebody who just likes to joke around a lot, or just like have fun. There's like this childish energy to you that people will definitely enjoy. And with the Fool here, it kind of just like reaffirms that, because the Fool can represent children. It can represent like having fun, never losing that youthful spirit. And so that's something that people will feel is very special about you. You just come off very youthful. You come off very fun. You can come off very lighthearted. And like you just want to joke around. We also have the Sun reaffirming that, which also has like the youthful children on it. And it also represents new beginnings. So there is a sense of optimism towards you with these two cards being presented towards me, always looking for a brighter future. And another thing that these two cards have in common is their sense of freedom. So the Sun represents having like absolute power over your own domain, not being tied down by any obligations. If you had watched my video on Uttara Shada, it always talks about kind of pulling away from society's restrictions. For example, we all have to work jobs to make money. And you see right now we're in a place where there's this great resignation, and a lot of people are pulling away from being employed. And that energy started in Uttara Shada, which is a sun-ruled nakshatra. And sun-ruled nakshatra is like saying, hey, I don't want to deal with this. I have to be forced to work 40 hours, 60 hours, 80 hours a week just to pay my bills. So there's an energy for you of like not being tied down by things you don't want to be tied down to. If you feel like you're in a relationship, it's not working out, then you'll pull out of that relationship. If you feel like you're at a job that you don't like, then you will get away from that job. And I went on like a date with somebody who was like sun ruled, and it was so funny. They basically said the same thing to me. They were like, if you just don't like where you are, just leave. Like, you've got to, like, if you don't like where you're living, then move. If you want to do something else, then go do it. Like, that's pretty much was their whole attitude. They did not believe in staying in a situation which did not make them happy. So that's something that people really see within you. They see you not being tied down by anything that disrupts or causes you a lot of burden and pulls away from your personal happiness. Now, there are obviously sacrifices we all have to make for our loved ones in that case, in certain cases where you may be having responsibilities placed on you, like maybe a family member gets sick and then you decide to take care of them. But for the most part, you're just like, no, you don't want to be tied down by anything that's going to cause you a strong amount of displeasure. You're willing to work hard to maintain your freedom and maintain your happiness and make sure you're in a place that you feel comfortable and confident within. And you have the patience and the resilience to do so, especially when we have the Strength card here, which also connects to the sign of Leo, which is obviously ruled by the sun. So there is a lot of fiery sun energy going on here. And people will like the fact that you are also very much unique and an individual and someone who is creative and defines things for themselves. They see you as somebody who is very bright and who, even if you don't always have a plan, you are moving towards that direction of just taking chances and taking risks in order to make yourself fulfilled. And that's what people really like about you. They like that you really go after things that bring you strong sense of fulfillment and bring you to a place where you feel like you can fully express who you are. Okay, so you don't want to be like a grumpy person all the time. You don't want to be a person who feels like you have a lot of burdens. You want to be an intelligent person. They see that you're intelligent. They see that you're knowledgeable. They see that you are, free or seeking freedom. They see that you're someone who likes to joke around, someone who likes to have fun, someone who likes to be silly. And they also see that you're someone who, like I said, is very, very optimistic and likes to just try something new out. Okay, if something's not working for you, you're like, all right, well, let's drop this and let's keep it moving with the Death card here. I always get the Death card to rule like pulling away from like things that are toxic for you. So purifying things, which is perfect because we have the sun following that next card, which kind of clarifies that. So it's all about saying, okay, if this situation is toxic, then I'm pulling away and I'm purifying myself. So that's something to think about. Trying to think of anything else. I need to stop saying it's kind of annoying. I would say another thing that makes you special is that you will put in the work in order to get whatever it is that you are trying to achieve. Because Death card is such a huge transformative experience. And any sort of transformative experience is so difficult. It is so hard to get through. It's so exhausting. It's like if you were to quit an addiction or quit a bad relationship or, pull away from something that's just not bad for you. Sometimes that can be very, very hard and even in some cases dangerous. And people see that you are willing to really roll the dice and say, hey, it's worth it in the end. It's worth it to not have to be tied to something that is sickening towards me. Okay, that is causing me harm. That's like the main message here. Not wanting me to tie it down to something that causes you harm physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And this generally people just find that you're just a very fun person to be around. Also, this can indicate some very generosity as well, and feeling like people just have a lot of trust in you as generally a leader. That's something that I see with the sun and the Strength card here, because you have the Lion kind of listening to this woman here, and then the Sun card in general just kind of rules having a sense of leadership and guiding people towards the light. No pun intended. But people feel like they can trust you, to follow you, to go places with you. I mean, even the Fool has its little dog companion. So you may even also be an animal lover. Not that that's special, but that's just what the cards are kind of pointed out. Maybe you just have a strong care for animals. Maybe you care a little bit more than the average person. Maybe you're a vegan or vegetarian or something like that. But 100% people just feel like you're somebody that they can trust, and you're someone who they feel like knows how to properly express themselves. And people may even really look for you towards having answers, where they feel like you're somebody who just knows the way to finding happiness, or maybe you have a certain skill and people are like, wow, this person's really good at this. They seem so talented. They seem so skilled. I want to be like them. Like I said, with women, it's similar to men, but it's a little bit more mothering. Like they're like, oh, let me cook for you. Let me give you some money. Let me help you out with moving. Like they're a little bit more like nurturing, I guess, and more like there to give you a place to stay or something like that. But definitely both placements are so independent that they will kind of naturally have people look towards them to be like, hey, you seem like this sort of authority figure, like you seem like you got it all figured out, so I want to be like you. So people see that independence in you. And you know, obviously if you're a very independent person, then you're going to attract a lot of people who are very dependent. So it's something to think about. And that is everything that I have for you, pile number 2. My brain is just shutting off. But that's the main messages. It's really short with this pile that makes you special. Not that you don't have a lot of qualities that make you special. It's just the main qualities are what I mentioned before, that people are really being drawn into those qualities, and they're saying, oh yeah, this person is definitely super independent. This person is definitely a great leader. This person is a great person to come to advise. This person, I feel protected, I feel comforted, and they don't seem to have any like toxic behaviors, or if they have them, they're working on them and they're battling them and they're tackling them head on. So that is what I have, and I'll see you guys next time. Au revoir. Hey, pile number 3, let's get into what makes you so special. We have the 2 of Cups, the Emperor, the 2 of Wands. We have, sorry, trying to get in order, the King of Coins and the 9 of Coins. Okay, I guess it didn't matter the order. So, let me make sure this is all somewhat in the frame. You guys see that? There we go. Now let us get into this. What makes you so special? With the 2 of Cups and the Emperor, it kind of gives me that feeling of like a counselor, or maybe not like a mediator, but more like somebody who lays the hammer down and sets boundaries within a relationship, because the Emperor is kind of like, oh, this is final say, right? And the 2 of Cups has to do with people coming together, kind of getting along, sharing interests, connecting, having an emotional bond, having a spiritual connection. And so what the cards are saying here is you have an ability to really connect and relate to people, as well as also keep your individuality and not get wrapped up in someone else's opinions or thoughts or, you know, beliefs, etc. You're able to keep that independence as well as be within a relationship. And some people can't do that. Some people kind of merge into friendships or romantic relationships, and they start forming the same habits as the other person. But the cards are saying that's really not you. You are very, I don't know, defined within who you are. And the cards are saying that that's really what's making you special, that you're able to be yourself around other people, but also respect who they are as people as well. You don't try to push your beliefs onto anyone. You just kind of like say, hey, this is who I am. This is what I like doing. It's cool that you like that. It's cool that you believe that, etc. This is what this card is saying. But with the Emperor here, it's also saying that, you know, if it gets to a point where there's some sort of disagreement, like this 2 of Wands energy, sometimes this 2 of Wands is, I wouldn't say it's a harsh disagreement. It's more like, do you want to go to the movies? No, I want to go, you know, go-kart racing, and, you know, like a little tiff like that. It's kind of just saying that, hey, you're someone who will state your case for go-kart racing or like going to the movies, but you are willing to, you know, respect other people's thoughts and opinions on that. So it's like, oh, I'm standing up for what I believe, but I get that it's not always going to be, you know, my way or the highway. The Emperor card here is definitely someone who can be very courageous. You know, there's a lot of people in this world who get nervous for, you know, standing up for other people or even standing up for themselves in like small situations. Like, let's say you're at a restaurant and they come and the waiter comes in and they bring you your food, but it's the wrong order. A lot of people get very nervous to say, hey, like, this isn't what I ordered. Could you please send this back? Or even if they don't like the food, they can say, they may get nervous to say, oh, I don't really like this. I kind of want to send it back. They kind of just don't want that judgment or being known as the person who's like sending the food back. But with the Emperor here, it's like saying, hey, even if you're a little bit nervous about it, you're going to make that statement. You're going to say, hey, this isn't exactly what I ordered. Could you please send that back? It's a small thing, but a lot of people don't have that courage to stand up for themselves. And the cards are saying, yeah, you have that courage to be independent, to stand on your own 2 feet. And to be a person who is confident within who you are. Even if you don't feel like you're that confident, the cards are saying you have it within you. You have that force, you have that energy, you have that sense of, I guess it's sort of a sense of discipline or belief within yourself. The Two of Wands, we have 2 twos here, and it's interesting because twos, I currently just came out, I didn't just come out of my 2-year, but I just previously had my 2-year numerology wise. And what I've noticed with 2 years, it really is like a lot of waiting around, wanting to get things done, being a little bit more reclusive, trying to decide what you want to do. So when it comes to reading this reading in particular, it's just kind of saying that one of the things that makes you special is you really take the time to plan out your next steps and what exactly it is that you want to do and what you want to go for. But there's also a bit of flexibility in what it is that you are desiring. So if some sort of plan doesn't work out, kind of like how we were saying earlier, like you're willing to compromise on things to a degree. If some sort of plan doesn't work out, you're like, okay, fine. It's not working out with this situation. Let's go over here and try something else new. So it's saying that you're willing to take in different suggestions, try different things, experiment a little bit, and figure out what exactly it is that you want to gain out of a situation. Whether that is like, okay, well, I'm not happy dating these type of people. Maybe I should try dating some new type of people instead of sticking to the same thing. Or, oh, I'm not happy with even something small, like I'm not happy with these curtains. Maybe I should try green curtains. I've never tried green curtains before. Like, that's not normally my style, but hey, maybe I'll get some green curtains. So certain little things that involve like changing or experimenting with either anything really, but with the world around you, that's something that is very special to you. A lot of people may have some issues taking some risks, taking some chances. These cards say you are that risk taker. You will take those chances. But you do like to have some sort of thought process and think about it a little bit. Especially when we have the King and the 9 of Coins. Those are the cards that are like my planner cards, that are like, I am independent, I got my own thing, I want to support other people, and I want to receive support. You know, it's just a card of like giving and getting back. And 9 of Coins is such a lovely card, man. When I get a 9 of Coins day, I'm like, oh, this is about to be my day. Like, I'm about to put my feet up, I'm about to go to the salon, like I'm about to get my toes done. I'm just about to, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to listen to music. It's just about enjoying the things that you have put time and effort to. Like, I used to get this card a lot in like my old apartment. And it was just basically about me you know, taking a walk, going across, like going around the city, going to restaurants, trying to, you know, just enjoying the fruits of my labor. Just being like, I worked so hard for this. It's the weekend. You know, if I want to go to a restaurant and I want to have a glass of wine and eat whatever meal I wanted to eat, then I'm going to go do that. So people really notice that's something special about you, that you're someone who doesn't stray away from enjoying yourself, who doesn't stray away from feeling fulfilled within their accomplishments. It's not just work, work, work all the time. You're like, hey, it's some time to relax and play. And there's some time for me to enjoy my own company, as well as the company of others. Obviously, with the Two of Cups, you're able to do that balance. You're like, I don't need to be around people all the time, but I also want to be doing my own thing, but I also want to be in the company of others. It's a good balance that you have within you that people are seeing. Twos are also about relationships and forming bonds and the connections around you, and people see that you really like and to form strong bonds, and you really value the friendships and relationships you have, and that's really what makes you very, very special. King of Coins is a card that I normally get for somebody who has a lot of confidence in their ability to either it could be doing certain tasks. It could be like practical tasks. It could be like making money. It could be anything from just having strong sense of values, whether that is, hey, you know what, I value equality. So, you know, I'm going to stick to surrounding myself with people who respect everyone, who believes everyone should have equal rights, and who believes everyone, you know, should have the opportunity to like marry, you know, every adult really. But that's something that people will see with you. They see that you're a person of integrity. And that's something that's very special to you, because you really value your integrity. You're a person of your word. You're very honest. You're very humble. You're very down to earth. And you're not someone who's, you know, gets caught up in a lot of superficial things. That doesn't mean you don't enjoy, you know, having those luxury moments, but you're not making it your whole life purpose to just live this, to just be rich or something like that. Or maybe you are, but basically people see other good qualities, as well as hopefully you see these qualities within yourself. The ability to sustain yourself, to be financially independent, to have your own goals that you want to set in place, to not get bogged down by conflict, to know when to say when and what's good for you and what's, you know, not so good for you, okay? Because coins can definitely deal with conflict sometimes, only because they connect to, like in astrology, the 6th house, which is the house of conflict. So it's about overcoming conflict. When we have this 9 of coins energy, it's like, hey, I've overcome all this conflict. I don't mind. I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on myself to be, I guess, perfect all the time. You know what I mean? Coins can be a little bit like a perfectionist in a way. So when we get to this 9 of coins space, it's like saying, hey, like I've made some mistakes. I've been to places that, you know, I did not like in my life. Situations that I did not enjoy, times where I felt really insecure, where I felt like I couldn't do it. But now I'm in a place where I feel like, hey, I've done all this by myself. And I know that I've done this, so I can do it again if given a situation. Kind of like if somebody was poor and then all of a sudden, you know, they manage to build themselves up, and they know like if they get poor again, they can build themselves up again. Or if somebody had their self-esteem shattered, then they're like, okay, well, I know how to build myself up again. I know how to gain that self-esteem back. I know how to do that. Or if somebody had a value that they had that no longer resonates with them, they're like, okay, well, I can find a new way to restructure my beliefs and my values and things like that. So that's something to keep in mind. It's just about, it's a different kind of flexibility. It's just being open to the challenges ahead of you and knowing that you are moving in the right direction. So that is what makes you very special, pal. Number 3, your confidence in yourself, your unique sense of courage and strength, your ability to stand up for yourself, your ability to plan ahead, your ability to be very, very unique in the way that you approach practical situations, which I didn't even get into, and the way that you approach relationships and how you may express your own even physical appearance. These are all things that make you unique. So that is what I have for you, or make you special, I should say. But the same thing, special, unique, basically. And I will see you guys next time. Au revoir. Hey, pile number 4, let's get into what makes you so special. Batman. We have the 3 of Pentacles, the 2 of Swords, the 7 of Coins, a lot of reversals in a way, the Page of Swords, and the Knight of Cups. Okay. So interesting. It's interesting that we got like Pentacle, Sword, Pentacle, Sword. Okay. Which lets me know that you probably have an unusual way of thinking and going about things. And that is what makes you very special. When we have this 3 of Pentacles, and then it's following with this 2 of Swords. So 2 of Swords is upright, is like somebody kind of being like, oh, I'm kind of a little bit shy, I'm burying my head in the sand, I'm avoiding some issues, or maybe I'm indecisive. With it being reversed, it's saying you've made a decision that you could be very decisive, very quickly sometimes. And especially when it comes to any sort of practical skills that you have. Now let me back up really quickly, okay? Because the 3 of Pentacles is just a card I normally get when it comes to being like hard work, completion, like working towards a goal. And for me, it looks like that you kind of know what it is that you wish to accomplish. There's some people, they may be at a place in their life where they're a little bit lost. They kind of don't know what they want to do. From the looks of it, it looks like you know what you want to do. You may not know all the practical steps to get there, but you have a good idea what you want to do. And what it is that you want to do in this life is a little bit maybe off the beaten path. Maybe a little bit unusual. Maybe it's a field or expertise that there aren't a lot of people in, or that a lot of people, it's not like a popular job or something like that, you know, something like, you know, like Anthony Bourdain. That's not like a popular job, like having a television show where you travel the world and eat food. Like that's not a popular gig. You may be a food critic, but to that level is a bit extreme, right? So something along the lines of what makes you unique is your given path in life, your given maybe hobby, career choice, something about what it is that you do with your time and the goals that you make are a little bit different than most. And you're very, very sure that this is exactly what you want to do, or at least, you know, even if it's not for a career, you know, like you may be like, I would love to do this hobby for life. Like for me, I would probably like to do tarot, you know, forever, or astrology forever. I just think it's fun, right? And it's not like the most common career path, though there are a lot of tarot readers and astrologers, but it's not the most common job. And then with the 7 of Coins, reversed, it's almost saying that the things that you invest in are not typically things that most people are investing their time and effort into. Now, this could be saying that you invest your time into studying different ways of thinking or thought. So like studying like ancient hieroglyphics, you know what I mean? Like that would be something that's like, oh, I spend my time investing in studying ancient hieroglyphics, because we have this Page of Swords energy, which is like, I'm looking at something, I'm reading something that a lot of people don't know a lot about, right? Or spending your time investing it into forming relationships with people who are of different cultural backgrounds, or who can provide you information and experiences that you wouldn't normally get from your local everyday person. Because the Page of Swords upright is like a local everyday person, and you know, reverse is like saying, hey, I'm talking to somebody a little bit further away. This can also mean that you may be somebody who might be prone to dating people, you know, outside your race, outside your culture, from like huge distances away. And this can also be like you're investing in things that don't have a lot of stability around it. So something would be like Bitcoin or Dogecoin. I think I'm saying Dogecoin. I can't pronounce it. Or Dogecoin. You know, things like that. There's not a whole bunch of stability and things around it. Things like, I'm trying to think of unusual things right now. Like my brain is a little bit fried today, but basically you get the point. Things that a lot of people really aren't investing their time in. So you have a little bit of an out of a box way of going about things. And that really does make you unique. What you like to do in your spare time as well can be something that people are like, oh, I don't know too many people who do that. Or you may even know little tidbits of information that people don't typically think about, or you have a way of thinking and questioning and viewing the world that others may have not really questioned for themselves based off of your experience. Because what I'm getting here is your way of thinking is very worldly for the environment you're in. It's almost like you're a foreigner in your own small hometown, okay? Because the locals are thinking one way and you're moving in a totally different direction. Okay, so that's something to think about. And then something that also makes you unique is the Knight of Cups can be this card that's a total charmer. Somebody who, you know, comes through and just makes other people feel good and makes them feel very comfortable, and who knows how to, you know, wow or woo a crowd in a way. They're like a little bit of a smooth talker. You catch people off guard with the things that you're saying because they're not expecting the conversations and the questions that you may ask and the topics that you bring up to come from you. They're expecting something to be a little bit more lighthearted, and that's not what they're getting. The question always seems to go deeper than what it is that they had originally thought and intended, and it always invokes a deeper thought. So that's something that's very special to you. And then with this Two of Swords, I don't know why I didn't mention this before, but reversed, you get the truth, because upright, it's somebody who avoids the truth. When we are reversed in this Two of Swords energy, it's someone who doesn't avoid the truth. So people see you as somebody who will seek answers, someone who really will not kind of let things just go. It's not like, okay, we agree to disagree, we have different perspectives. It's more like, well, why do you think the way you think? What conclusion did you get? What led you to conclude this? What life experience led you there? You're really trying to get a deeper insight into people, and not only other people, but yourself. So that's something to really keep in mind. And the Two of Swords reversed is interesting because it's almost like you don't care if the situation's awkward. I'm not saying all the time, but a lot of times you may feel like it doesn't matter if it's awkward. You just want to know the answers. You just want to know what exactly is being conveyed here in your interactions and your messages to people. So that's something to keep in mind, because this card reverse can be about not avoiding conflict. Okay, because upright would be avoiding conflict. This is like, you know what, blindfolds off. You got to tell me the truth. We're not avoiding any issues. We got to lay everything out on the table, and we got to keep a deeper investment in mind. Like, we really got to dive in deep when it comes to what exactly is being communicated. So your interactions with people aren't really that superficial. They're very, very, I guess, I wouldn't say controlled, but very, very curious mindset that we have here, okay? It's just about exploring the deeper realms of people's psyche. And, you know, sometimes when we have the Seven of Coins, it kind of clarifies that Two of Swords energy where, you know, when it's reversed, and it's like saying, not taking the time to think, kind of just like really jumping into a situation, guns blazing. Which can be good. It could be good sometimes, because then you're not missing out on opportunities. It's more like you don't want to lose out on something just because you were taking too much time to think about or consider a situation. It's like saying, I really want to make sure I'm getting the best of my time, so I don't want to spend too much time reading through the contracts, reading through all the details of every little thing. I want to just be able to take a risk, take a chance. I want to just, start a business. I want to just, go on that date. I want to just, meet up with people or try that new whatever that's popping. I can't think of anything right now that would be open and new, but it's just saying, hey, I want to take a little bit more risk and not wanting to wait as long. And this can also be indicative of kind of like losing patience, but I don't think that's like a special trait. Lots of people lose patience, right? So it's just really about knowing your worth, deciding really quickly what you need to invest your time and energy into, whether that's a relationship. It could be like, I know very quickly if I'm compatible with someone. So that's something that's very special about you. Like, you have that intrinsic value that like, you're like, I don't think this person is the one for me. Like, after a date, you're like, no, I already know this person isn't for me. We're gonna keep moving on. Like, okay. So it's it's a lot faster when it comes to investing your time. I'm trying to think of anything else that you might need to, that's like really making you special and standing out here. I think we hit like the major key players here when it comes to the things that are making you very, very special and like this very unique individual. It could be that the way you express your emotions with this Knight of Cups energy is that you may express your vulnerabilities and even thoughts that people think that normally people don't express, which is, I don't know what society you're in, but in Western society, wow, I can't speak today. In Western society, at least in America here, it's not very common to just be open about things that, hurt you or upset you or, cause you some sort of negative emotions. And you may be that type of person to just be like, hey, that really hurt my feelings to say that. You could be like, I'm a sensitive person, so please don't talk to me that way. Like, just things that are just setting those boundaries, setting those rules, and also just being honest and allowing people to be vulnerable. Not saying you got to open up to every single person that you meet, but it's just more like just saying, hey, I'm just going to say how I feel, and however somebody reacts is however they react. So that's something to keep in mind here with what makes you special. Just having that ability to just speak what's on your mind. Not a lot of people have that sense of, that personality trait. And it looks like you guys really have that down packed. Okay. So that is what I have for you, pile number 4. Pretty easy to read this pile. Like, you guys are really incredible people. I love the honesty coming for you guys. I love that you guys want to dive deeper into things. You guys are like real charmers here, like unexpected charmers. You probably look young for your age too, because sometimes I get the Knight of Cups for that, and or just looking young in general. So I get that for that as well. So all of those things and in mind, and just weirdly successful investments with very little time and preparation, which is very special and very, very lucky. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a wonderful Halloween, and I'll see you next time. Au revoir.